Grip it, rip it. Try not to flip it.
Get in here. It's the pod, the Pervcast. We're excited. I know that you might have just thought, man, Grant
Welcome.
or Ethan 1 just got way more manly. But what actually happened is we are so stoked to have a producer.
Yeah.
Our producer, which is just so happens to be one of my lifelong good friends, and then sometimes friends in life, you're like so close, and then like life happens and families happen, and you kind of like, you grow apart just because you have to, you don't have a choice. But then it's always the best when life brings it back together. And that happened recently with our producer, my man. You guys can't see him right now. If you go back and watch the YouTube video that I just posted this weekend, you'll see him. Anthony Finzo, a.k.a. Pifty. Pifty. Yep. And there's a whole story behind that. We don't have to get into it now, but I wanted to introduce the man that has actually just right now made our lives so much easier. And this product,
welcome.
way better, dude. Yeah.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. It's fun to be here. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, yeah.
It's fun to have you here already.
For sure. Yeah. And
I get to stare somebody in their eyeballs now while I'm talking.
It is
Besides
nice.
this clown.
Yeah.
Fair.
No, my neck is just getting sore from always having to turn my head.
Yeah, I know. So the other day on Saturday, we set it up where, and it's probably my fault, but truthfully, like Anthony gave a great idea. He was like, yo, let's set this up because it's just you by yourself. You're going to be looking into the camera. Nah. I just talked to him the whole time, which I think was like outside of his idea, but I mean, it worked out good. But looking somebody right in their eyes is nice for sure. Yeah.
They always told us like when I was in broadcasting school, they're like, you need to look directly into the teleprompter or whatever. And I don't know, to me, it always felt a little bit weird because if you really watch when you're watching like a broadcast news journalist, you can just barely tell they're looking right above you because the teleprompter sits right on top of the camera, and it's just slightly off.
Okay,
it just makes you look like a space case.
Here's the thing: you can tell that it is literally. So if you watch a broadcaster, and then you go and meet somebody with like severe social anxiety. Or maybe some other kind of disorder, and I don't mean this as an insult, but it's legit. Like the eye angle, in conjunction to your face or relation to your face is the same. Like I've met so many people where I'm like, literally, I meet them and we talk for a minute, and I'm like, oh, poor guy, because I know that he's like hurting talking to me because he's looking over my head.
Over the top of your head.
Yeah, or off to the side.
He's looking at the teleprompter up there.
Yeah, for sure. Or maybe he's just a news guy.
Yeah, there you go.
And he's like, he's doing the news to me.
Yeah, that's how he was instructed to do it.
He's doing the news to me, man. Yeah, for sure. So,
hey, have you ever had this? And I won't stay long on this.
Okay.
But, have you ever been talking to somebody and they have a weird facial feature? Okay.
Yeah.
So like a mole or a scar or just like maybe 3 eyeballs or, who knows what the weird facial feature is, right? But you just...
Not on the 3 eyes yet.
I know, I have such a bad habit of like, I'm trying to look them in the eyes, but because that feature is very attention grabbing, like my eyes will just go to it like every time. Or like really bad teeth or something. You're just like staring at their teeth the whole time. So and then they'll kind of look at me like, "Are you seriously looking at that right now?" And then I'm like, and I'll try to like connect back with their eyeballs again. But I have a horrible habit of doing that.
What you're doing is you're scrolling and bouncing back. You're a typewriter, old school typewriter. You're scrolling and bouncing back because your eyes are just moving towards that thing and bouncing back, moving to it, bouncing back.
I know. I can't help myself. I can't stop.
Yeah,
it's horrible.
It is tough. It definitely is tough. I don't know about the 3 eyes. No, I'd kind of like to experience it, though. Just feather in my cap, be able to say that I had done it.
You talk to a 3-eyed person?
Yeah, been like...
A triclops?
Triclops? Is that what that is?
I don't know.
So does that mean I'm a biclops?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay, cool. That's wild.
You learn something new.
Yeah, no doubt. The things you know.
All right, so you were going to tell me something new that I hadn't heard this whole Nvidia deal.
Yes. So, and I'm no expert on this,
All right.
but I read it earlier, and
This is
it
where I
was
get my
like-
news from.
Yeah. Okay.
Pod.
Yeah.
So please.
Yeah. And I get my news from pod preparation.
Okay. All right.
Is, as you can tell, not much.
Let's go.
So I was reading about this. Obviously, remember during COVID when they said everything was expensive because of microchip shortages. And I should have sent you the link for this Nvidia. There was one on, I hate to say it, Yahoo. I actually usually go to Yahoo to find like funny, ridiculous stories. And then this one I found, and it was like actually pretty informative, because even though they're dumb, they can still be, I guess educational sometimes if they just present facts. But
Yeah, the writing quality, like, because as a trained journalist, I look at some of the quality of the articles written on there. I'm like, dude, this is horrible. But Jay was pointing out to me, he's like, dude, I bet 90% of the written articles that come on there,
Yeah.
he said, are probably like outsourced from some other, like
Yeah.
Slate or
Yeah.
what have you. So
that's a good idea. As a non-trained journalist, as a trained welder, I look at it and go, this is insane. But anyway, looking at this, during COVID, microchips were a massive problem. That's why everything was expensive. There's a shortage of these microchips, right? And, and then eventually, I guess everything got right. And maybe the article actually held too much truth and they pulled it down.
they're like, nope.
Yeah, they're like, this thing's too honest. As it turns out, this company, Nvidia, which
Yeah.
manufactures like a massive percentage of microchips for the United States, and obviously will retail to other countries as companies do. But they have
I've got like a Nvidia gaming chip or gaming
graphics
card in my
Yeah.
computer.
Okay, so I guess that's kind of been their thing for a long time,
Right.
is the graphics card primarily. But over the recent past, they have kind of mastered AI and making hardware that will function with AI software. And it's just flawless and seamless. But then a problem has become,
So are they in like a defense contractor now?
dude, that's a good point. That is like spot on, because that is the whole problem. Is essentially now, so there are sanctions, and the US surprisingly has actually limited ability for these companies, Nvidia specifically, because of the power of their chips to work with AI. They have limited them.
Seriously?
Yeah,
Wow.
kept them from being able to sell to China,
Yeah.
which is
I get that.
yeah, and I get it too. Like I support it, and I was actually looked at it, and I was like, okay, this is like the one positive thing that I have heard in quite a while. As far as maybe what we're doing with certain things,
Right.
on the government anyway. And so I'm like, I support this for sure. If we have this powerful tech software and chip technology to work with AI and run weapon systems,
Right.
and radar and mapping and intelligence, all these different things, yeah, probably a good idea to control it. So there are massive regulations to keep Nvidia from being able to trade or sell these to China, but they have found and they've had a few different versions of these chips, and every time that this regulation comes out to keep them from sending it to China, what they do is they they rebuild, re-engineer this chip so that it no longer falls under the regulation that was established to keep that from happening. So they can just skirt the law there. They can skirt around it. And so it's like
Sounds like last week's episode about the cameras.
honestly, dude, actually, it's not far off. These cameras have chips in them, so it's pretty close, but it's wild because they just, they just skirt right outside of the regulations,
Yeah.
and keep this chip doing and running the way that the Chinese want it to run, and that's why they want to purchase it. But this company that, first off, said it was established by 3 American computer scientists, and I cannot thoroughly or properly announce any of
them?
their names.
Yeah.
So I'm like, and nothing against that. That's fine. I'm just saying, it's like, dude, if such a big priority is getting this product to China, do we think China? Do we really think that this is a thoroughly American operation? You know,
Well, I mean, probably not, but that company has one goal. A lot of companies now are, I think they feel like they're sort of borderless, that they're global, they're more of like global companies and they just want to sell, across the board. But I am 100% on board with like regulating that though. If it's an American owned business, especially if it's used in defense contracting, because if you start giving those same exact chips to China, which if they really want them, they'll get their hands on them anyway.
For sure. But if it's that direct and that easy,
right? But then it allows them to develop weapon systems to basically take our chips that are in our military offline, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's like a super tech weapon.
Yeah.
So I'm totally on board with like not allowing them to do that. But China has been stealing our technology for decades, though.
Right. But the thing is,
like intellectual property, all that. I mean, there's no, there's no stone they won't,
flip over
to steal intellectual property.
But they've never needed help to steal it.
Yeah,
usually,
sure.
They might be a couple years behind on.
Maybe that's what Nvidia is trying to do. They're like, well, we know they're going to steal our intellectual property anyway, so
why
let's
don't
just
we
get
make
ahead
some
of
money
it.
off of it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I guess
Maybe they're developing those chips with like a secret code inside the chips to be like, we can
crash their system.
We can crash their system at any time.
All right, if that's the case,
hey, have you read The Art of War? There you go, dude. That's some Sun Tzu shit right there.
Yeah, for sure. I haven't read it, but that's what's up, dude.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, I know about it. I just haven't read it.
No, be like friends with your enemy.
Yeah, for sure.
Until
keep your friends closer and your enemies closer.
Exactly.
That type of thing.
Yeah.
Is that where that quote came from?
I mean, essentially, it's probably been coined by a bunch of people, but that's definitely what Sun Tzu said. Like, if you're getting ready to go to war with someone, don't act like you're getting ready to go to war with them.
Draw them
Be
in.
friends. Be like super nice. Be super diplomatic, and then before they know what happened, hammer time.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Okay. Well,
maybe that's what Nvidia's doing.
yeah. I mean, hey, if they're doing that, then I'm in on you, Nvidia. If you're just trying to go, well, they're going to get the intellectual properties and the product anyway, or steal our ideas, then here, let's get some money out of it. That's just another case of essentially what we talked about last week with greed being the be all.
But it's specific. I'm seeing on that article now. And thanks for pulling that up, Anthony. It says that they would halt some AI chips.
Yeah, which only goes so far,
I'd like to know what those AI chips, like, what do they run exactly? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's kind of, so I read that, like, it seems like the primary function of them, kind of like you said, is mostly graphics cards, but I guess that for some reason, and actually, dude, if you think about it, what are people using AI for so much now is deep fakes. So they can literally visually make anybody with AI say anything that they want. Let's see, is kind of what I think. And so you have to have this super powered like graphics card if you're going to fabricate something that is a replica of the real thing.
Yeah, and those
make it believable.
Right. Which, like, I learned this week the limitations of computing power, which I was blown away by. I had never really read what a crypto mine is before, okay?
Yeah.
But I read into it, and apparently, because the reason I got interested in it, there was a news article about a place down in Harrison, Arkansas. They wanted to start a crypto mine.
Yeah.
And then this lady was like, on the news, this is like a local news broadcast. She's got like 5 teeth. She's like, well, I just am trying to make sure the environment's going to be okay down here. We don't want them to come in and mess up our environment. And I'm like, what the heck does crypto mining have to do with the environment in Harrison, Arkansas?
Yeah.
Well, as I got to reading, apparently it sucks a huge amount of power. Like, you need the same amount of power to run a crypto mine. This blew my freaking mind. Is the same amount of power that you would need to run a small country for a year to mine one
coin.
Right.
Yeah.
And like we were talking, I was trying to remember what country specifically it was, but it was like some of the smaller like European countries
Right.
could run for 1 year on the amount of power that it takes to mine one crypto coin. And it's like, oh yeah, there you go. Consumes an estimated 150 terawatt hours of electricity annually.
more than the
Entire country of Argentina.
I almost said Argentina jokingly, dude.
That's just Bitcoin. That's not counting the rest of the
all the other cryptocurrencies.
That's
right.
insane, dude.
But apparently, to have a crypto mine, it takes up like a huge amount of power, and so they were worried about like
65
their grid in
megatons.
Harrison, Arkansas, going off the like just like people's just having rolling blackouts in Harrison, Arkansas because no one was able to power this crypto mine.
And then the leadership in Harrison comes out and they're like, "What are you guys even worried about? What do you think you are, Argentina?"
Well, what's funny is I guess Harrison, like in their city charter, had made a deal blocking
Crypto?
crypto mining, like from getting a license in their
Okay.
in their city. Well, apparently a bunch of like, you know how these ultra nerds online, you know how they'll just like start attacking people?
Yeah.
Well, I guess Harrison, Arkansas just opened itself up to all kinds of like online attacks.
Are you saying that
ransomware and all this stuff from these people? They're like, you can't block crypto mining. Anyway,
Are you telling me that they opened themselves up to Reddit?
yeah, pretty much. Like,
All the guys that took a
Anything
break
bad.
from World of Warcraft jumped
Yeah.
back on Reddit and started making some comments.
but that just goes to show you, though. Okay, so to crypto mine one Bitcoin, you have to have X amount of power to power the type of computers that you need to be able to do these extremely advanced problem solving.
Computations.
Yeah.
Right.
So I always thought, I was like, yeah, you know, if you have a powerful enough computer, you can pretty much do anything with it, solve
Right.
anything. But it's not that simple. It takes
No.
a huge amount of power, like that powers an entire country with. So, you know, I think I would be interested to see what type of power capability it takes to run some of these Nvidia AI chips. That's like kind of how I got off onto the
I'm with you too. Actually, I think we should make a note for next week that
to do a deep dive.
well, yeah, even if not a deep dive, I want to get into a little bit of AI and a little bit of the Bitcoin thing,
Right.
All right, because I have
mining.
some, you know,
Were you thinking about setting up a crypto mine?
yeah, I've been thinking about it.
Don't do it in Harrison.
No, we're good. I'm just gonna not tell anybody and do it right here.
350. Is that watts?
What kind of time frame is that in?
Is that like
Oh, that's probably 350 watts to produce one coin.
no? This is on the Nvidia chip.
Yeah, this is a H800, one of the new Nvidia.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I never even
Max
looked up
power
there.
consumption could be 350 watts.
And is that like probably per second of operation, or do you have any?
That's okay. So
It's just like
An operating.
an operating manual. would be
That's
on there.
probably
Okay.
yeah. Okay.
I saw up there. Maybe it's not that bad. It said that to have it, it had to have, which I mean, it said it had to have, I think, 8 gigabytes of available space to operate.
Right.
Up above that, which I guess.
I'd be interested to just see like what the power consumption is. I guess it also depends on like how many chips you're using too, because I mean I'm sure in some of those like super high end AI.
Yeah, it's probably got tons of them.
Yeah, I
you
would
know,
think,
especially
yeah.
if you think that China's wanting to get a hold of a ton of these to like weaponize them. Think about how many one of those computers might have. You know,
What always makes me like anytime all this AI stuff's coming out and it's like ultra realistic, you know, it basically just looks real on a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
And you know how
yeah, he goes.
yeah,
Fenzo goes over
right,
my
yeah,
head.
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I get that. I started reading through it. I'm like, yeah, no, I can't
Yeah.
do this.
Yeah. If I had 2 hours to read that and then think about what I was going to say later, it might work out. But that one was just a little much for me.
Was it Thomas Jefferson or it was one of our founding fathers? But he
It
said,
was talking about the Nvidia chip.
no, yeah, totally. No, but it relates to this. He said, believe none of what you
Here
hear
and
and
half,
half of what you see.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Well, nowadays it's like where do we find ourselves with AI
Believe
now, right?
none of what you hear and
none of what you see.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, there's
and even less
there's
of what
already
you
like
read.
the deep fake stuff
Yeah.
online, and it's like, what
which is on the money a lot of times.
Yeah.
So, and then actually, like there was 2 instances where somebody mentioned to me, they were like, "Yo, dude, this is crazy, man. Have you thought about just like it's crazy the kind of cool stuff that you could create for your podcast if you use AI?" And they're like, "You can just type stuff on and get this." A topic, and you'll get this amazing like storyline and like conversation points and all this different stuff. I'm like, no, like absolutely not. There would be no point in doing this. And
right.
so I think, to a larger point, I think that's indicative.
That goes back to like 4 or 5, 6 pods ago. We were talking about like real versus like, staged, or, Instagram reel versus real, right? And who wants to be,
if I was doing this, if we were doing this using AI, it wouldn't be worth doing.
Right.
It's a big investment. It's a big time investment. And it's just like the most awesome thing. It's so much fun. And it's fun to use your brain to come up with, whatever my dumb brain wants to come up with. It wouldn't be worth it if you're going to go, hey, AI, what you got?
Well, I mean,
hey, Allen Iverson, what you got?
There's
It just wouldn't be worth it.
There's something to be said for just like that real human touch,
Yeah.
Like, there's just like, no matter what machines try to take over for humans over the next, until Skynet becomes fully self-aware,
Right.
We're going to be, or was it Skynet and Terminator? Is that?
Oh, I don't know. I thought you were talking about something that Elon Musk was doing.
No, well, he does have something called Skynet, but what is the
what I-
Terminator? What's it? Sky something. It's like
Skyfall.
it's like
No, that was a fun movie to see.
Skynet. That's what it's called.
Skynet. Nice.
Yeah, I knew I was on the money with that.
You nailed it, dude. Good call.
That's like the machine brain.
Skynet.
Skynet,
Yeah.
yeah.
And now it's wild because there will be a machine brain called Skynet.
Or the Matrix.
Or there might already be. Yeah, and the Matrix and all this stuff. So these people with these imaginations back, whatever,
Take the
20 years ago or...
pill.
Yeah. It's... I mean, hey,
Dude, like,
some of
it's
these
like,
people
it's
were
kind
spot
of
on.
freakishly
Accurate.
Well, I mean, I guarantee you there's a whole segment of society that would love to just be plugged into an AI, artificial,
And live in meta
reality,
world or whatever
right.
it's called.
like, and not actually have Musk's Neuralink to start human trial of brain implant.
Right. So I think that
There you go, dude.
now I'm not gonna
That is
lie.
the Matrix.
I'm a bit more of a defender of Musk because I think that he stands for some
No, I don't have a
social
problem with it.
and human
Yeah.
truths. I think a lot of people are like, we want to take over we want to take over people's minds and just be able to let them, like in Wall-E, just like lay in bed, be fat, and then like the robots do everything, and you're just,
Plugged into Meta.
yeah, plugged into Meta. I think that Musk is like, yo, I think we could really help people through this kind of stuff. He's talked about epilepsy and things like that. That Neuralink might
Right.
be able to help.
Have you ever watched Resident Evil?
Ooh,
That's how it started. They were trying to like develop like some awesome cure for cancer or something like that, and they created zombies that destroyed the planet.
oh, that was the same thing with
That's the plot of Resident Evil. Umbrella Corp.
I Am Legend.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. They
So
had this.
the road to
weird-
hell is paved with good intentions.
Yeah, dude, they had this weird like sickness that was going around called Bovid. And so they came out with this.
This sounds like a South Park episode.
Yeah, it really does. No, but they came out with this medication that was going to like fix everybody and heal them. And then it turned out that they all turned into zombies and Will Smith was the last human on Earth.
I remember that.
I think that was the movie. No, I don't remember. But it was something similar.
I Am
It was
Legend?
like a medication.
No, it's good. Yeah, I remember that. It was. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure it was to cure cancer.
Oh, I think so. I
It was
don't remember.
basically
Yeah,
Resident Evil.
It was cancer.
Just,
later.
Just a different, instead of it being like, crazy.
Dude,
It's pretty much the same plot.
that's insane. That is insane.
Well, Musk has said that this is just the start. when Grant read that with Neuralinks to start human trial of brain implant. Yeah, that's a real thing, but he's starting with a good purpose. So
Right,
kind of
yeah.
like what you were saying about, Musk he's trying to do something good. But even social media started out something good. There's got to be a way that this is going to get perverted in some way.
Oh yeah.
I agree with you 100%. Like it won't end good. Starting good, even with good intentions, doesn't. I wouldn't. I mean, I'm not even going to dive into that. That's a whole other topic that's a whole other can of worms that we could jump into.
It did remind me of like technology gone wrong. This is kind of the topic we're having right now.
Right,
technology gone wrong,
for sure.
or the possibilities of technology going wrong. But
sorry guys, sometimes Pervcast covers serious topics and talks about the world because we live in it and we feel it. So we gotta let y'all know.
Absolutely, but I think this will help bring some
levity
to the situation.
Okay. Was that the right word?
Yes,
is that
it
a good
is.
word? Okay, sweet. Wasn't sure.
So all this technology doesn't really impact our lives yet. It's going to, right? It's on the horizon, but there's not anything that's impacting our lives right now. However, I would like to bring up something that will be impacting your life very shortly. And it's a technological advancement, if you will, called rollback on golf balls.
Rollback on golf balls?
Yeah. And it's kind of messed up. When I read the article today, it absolutely infuriated me. And rollback on golf balls is basically the technological technological step in the golf ball industry.
I have my hand up, dude.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Get in here.
This is rollback on golf balls. This is whatever type of golf ball you buy at Walmart.
Titleist, Nike, all of it.
Rollback.
Just all manufactured. No. Rollback on golf balls. Walmart golf balls, right. That's what I thought the original story was about, but it's not at all.
You kind of like breezed past saying something about that earlier. That's all I could think is, I don't use
Walmart golf
usually
balls.
where I buy golf balls.
Those are the Chinese golf balls. No, but basically they're making it, and this is like across the board, like on all golf balls that are going to be made now.
Okay.
They're making them go less distance. They're rolling back the range of the balls.
No, dude.
Yes. So apparently what they're doing is
no.
Because players are getting better and stronger and the technology behind the clubs is better, people are out driving these golf courses, right?
No, they're not. No, I'm not. No,
okay,
we are
all right,
not.
hold on.
Dude.
I get that, okay? And this is what I'm going to get at, man. What's the last thing you possibly need in golf? Me and you have golfed together often, and it's a real struggle out there.
For sure.
But the golf industry decided that people like me and you need yet one more impediment
We gotta
try to make par.
We got to add 2 more strokes.
Yeah.
I hope they change the par.
No, I was like, if they're going to do this, then they need to add a stroke per hole, dude.
Absolutely, dude.
I'm already, like, if I get a bogey or a double bogey, I'm feeling pretty good about life, right? I'm like, like, this is all right.
That feels
I'm
nice.
hanging in here. But I just can't help but wonder with these new balls that are going to be coming out. And this is like across the industry. This is like all balls they're going to manufacture now are going to be have reduced range. See, limit how far the ball travels in top level competitions. Is that great or what? But it's not just in competitions though. I read that it's going to be just across the manufacturing specs.
Dude, you know what that's going to open up the door for? Remember when
I'm just going to start hitting my irons off the tee box.
For sure. But here's the problem for me is I need a 30-yard shot, and so I'm gonna hit the 64, right? And then guess what happens? I blade it, and I end up hitting my 64 130 yards back up to the clubhouse. I'll tell you what this opens the door for, dude. Golf rollback. I'm out on this.
No, this is devastating to me.
Oh, sure. Dude, I am so upset over all the golf that I don't play. Dude, I tell you what this is going to open the door for. Roids and loaded balls. That's it. If when guys go from driving like, who's like the
Loaded
top-
golf balls?
Yeah, so who's the top couple drivers in maybe PGA? Like who are the
Rory
best?
McIlroy absolutely smokes them.
He's good. Who's the other dude that just he's a beast. He's like a linebacker. And I can't. I know everybody knows who I'm talking about, but this dude, whenever
I'm pretty sure Ricky.
no, it's not Ricky Gervais.
He's not a golfer.
No,
Yeah, I think Ricky Fowler rips him.
he crushes them. But there's one other. It's not Justin Thomas, maybe. Whatever, dude. He's built like. You look at him and you're like, you are way too thick to be playing golf. But whenever he goes from driving, Brooks Koepka, maybe I'm gonna stop throwing out names because I don't think I'm right on any of these.
Could be.
However, whenever he goes from driving,
Scott Stallings,
no.
429 yards.
Okay, well when you
Just followed
whoever it is, that,
460 yards.
that's insane.
Get out, dude.
All right, so when this guy goes from hitting 460,
Dude, he could if he drove 460, he could hit green and one on a par 5.
for sure.
That's insane to me.
Yeah, and I'm hoping to get 460 in 5 shots.
You know what I'm saying?
And that wasn't like at a tournament either. That was at the U.S. Open.
Oh my!
It wasn't just like a drive tournament. He hit that at the U.S. Open.
Wow.
That's insane, dude. So my point is,
Dude, if I had a 460 yard drive, I would just quit the tournament. I'd be like, well, guys, obviously I'm the best. See you later.
dude, if I hit a 460-yard drive, that would mean I was in a car. All right?
460 yard drive. I see what you did there.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
But when these
My
guys,
gosh, 400. I can't even. That's.
when these guys are used to just absolutely crushing the ball, I want to say Scotty Scheffler.
That's the dude you were talking about.
Yeah.
Is just crushing.
It was either
Justin
Scotty
Thomas
Scheffler
is
or
up
Justin
there too.
Thomas.
So, all right, so top 10, you got Justin Thomas in there. You got Rory McIlroy.
Yeah. So we threw out some good. I think it was Justin Thomas, honestly.
Spieth.
Yeah, Spieth is there. But when these guys go from hitting in the like low, mid, and upper 400s
Steven Gallagher.
to 360,
Is that the Scottish dude?
370,
Yeah.
when they start doing that, that's what I mean. These guys are going to start looking for loaded clubs and loaded balls. Just like you always heard back in the day, like, Mark McGwire corks his bat. No, it turns out he corks his body, but there were people that corked their bats.
Right.
So I think that'll become a thing. You take, I don't know, do you know how much of, like, what percentage
Yeah, it's
of a swing
I think
is leaving?
it's 5%. No. Sorry. The test speed at which they test all golf balls that are manufactured is 120 miles an hour.
Okay.
That's the swing speed.
Okay.
And what they're going to do is they're going to start testing them at 125 for the same outcome. Right?
Okay.
So essentially they're going to be
So it will be minimal. I mean,
Right.
The
But it said the article I read, it said for a professional golfer, it might take for an amateur golfer, it said like 9 yards. It'd take about 9 yards off your drive.
Okay.
And for a professional, it was something like 25 to 30 yards off their drive.
25 to 30 is pretty sizable.
I think that's what it was.
I believe that for sure. Like, if it's taking 9 off of me, dude,
Absolutely,
you got it's taking that.
I
off
need
of
every
me.
inch when I go out and play golf.
For sure.
You know?
And then when I do get the inches, they're in the wrong direction.
Right.
So it's like, I don't really like that, dude. I feel like, all right, so what's next? The NFL goes out and makes the football field 110 yards long and, end zone to end zone, and then they make it, instead of 53 and a third yard wide, they make it 59 yards wide.
Yeah,
Like,
but that doesn't impact you going out and playing catch with your buddy, though.
Okay, true. But as far as professional sports go, you're going to be like, nope, you guys are bigger, faster, and stronger now than you used to be 20 years ago or even last year.
We're going to move the goalpost, literally.
Yeah, for
This is a metaphor and also actually happening.
Absolutely, dude. And actually, I'll tell you what, used golf balls, that's a market I'm getting ready to get
You're
into.
just gonna like hoard all of the old juiced golf balls and then
Absolutely,
start
dude.
selling them to people. Be like, would you like to take your golf game to a whole new level? I can add 9 yards to your drive.
You want to
use
drive
my
90
balls.
yards further?
So they're saying 7 miles per hour now.
Okay. All those
Difference.
sharing that current balls would break the testing barrier at 320 yards. Huh.
The decrease of at least 15 to 20 yards. I think that's for for like elite competition, a decrease of 15 to 20 yards. And I think for like amateurs, like regular golfers, it was like 9 yards or something like that.
Okay. That's I don't know.
Well, when I read it, it made me upset because I'm like, I have never once drove the green. Like, I don't think, I don't want this.
Here's the equivalent, bro. Here's what it is. All right, in the NFL.
Sorry, I have drove the green on a par 3.
Yeah, I drove it on a putt course one time, dude.
Okay.
So this is the equivalent, right? In the NFL, they play with the Duke. All right, it's larger than this. It's wider, certainly. No stripes. It's an exact measurement, weight. Everything has to have an exact PSI.
Unless you're Tom Brady.
And then you can suck a little out. But they have an exact thing that the NFL plays with, right? But if you go play flag football, you get in one of those leagues, which at our age we can still do easily. You don't have to. What?
I'm not.
Oh, it stopped count. Is it still counting down on the soundboard? Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay. I was like, I don't see the.
Yeah, it did that. I don't know. I don't like the program. Maybe I need to update or something, but it's been,
I'm sorry to step on that. I was just like, oh no,
Yeah,
lost
oh, no.
audio.
understood panic.
I've got it marked so if you want to edit this part out. But yes, it's been counting down over here. I don't know why it stopped over there.
I was just trying to heads up, but
It did the same thing to us
Sorry.
Saturday.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
No, but good heads up. You better absolutely, want to look at it. Here's the thing. So, if you took the Duke, the NFL football, and said, all right, you're playing flag football in a church league or a park league or whatever, you have to play with this ball. Well, I got news for you, dude. I've played some flag football since being done with high school football.
Right.
And as a quarterback with freaking short, like, cow nipple hands that struggled to grip the football, dude, I couldn't.
It's called a
play with-
teat, man.
As teat.
I got teat fingers.
I got tingers, dude. I got tinkers. I couldn't grip.
Was that his nickname in high school football? Teat fingers.
Teat fingers, dude. Hey, Teats, what's up, man?
Hey, Teety.
Hey, Teats, I was open.
You really dropped the ball, Teat.
Hey, Teats, look for me on this post route, bro. Anyway, I couldn't.
Man, that Teat's going hard out there. Why is Teat so soft right now?
Teats, looking to the corner, and intercepted. Just a little too short.
Man, that Teat's been spraying the ball all over the place.
Teats spreading the ball. Teats pounding the rock like we've never seen him do before.
Oh my gosh! I'm sorry. I had to.
This is ridiculous.
Had to grip it and rip it right there.
Look at my fingers. Surprise, surprise. Anyway, if you're in that league, I'm not gonna play well. I can't do it. So it's kind of the same thing. Like, don't change all of manufacturing at all levels to this one thing.
Agreed.
Leave your amateur golf ball, and then professionals have professional golf balls.
Yeah,
the
but
way.
you know what's going to happen then?
Oh yeah,
But then the PGA
golf.
guys are going to be like, I'm going to sneak some amateur balls in here.
that's what I meant about corking balls and corking clubs. Like, I think that'll open the door for it. It'll be interesting to see. I don't know.
What you got, dude?
Wouldn't it be simpler just to add another set of tees for the pros?
Absolutely.
Change the ball rule.
For sure.
Just
Add another 20-yard
just
tee.
back up the pro tees.
PGA tees.
Yeah.
For sure.
At every PGA course.
You should probably go mention something like that. You might.
Yeah.
That's like $1 million idea.
Yeah, for sure. But actually, no, the problem is they
Heard it here
went to,
first.
They went to Callaway and Titleist and all these different, manufacturers, and they were like, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they go, how would you guys feel if we made you guys start designing and building and creating and selling a brand new
Shittier golf ball.
shittier golf ball. Yeah. And they're like, really? You do that for us? You know? And so that's what they do. Of course they were excited about it, dude. Of course they were stoked about it.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, yeah, it's a business decision, obviously money, but I don't know. To me, I'm just that's tragic.
Yeah,
dude. That's the last thing my golf game needs.
Yeah, it's going to piss me off whenever I go play one time in the next 2 years. Still going to make me mad, though.
It says on Golf Digest, recreational golfers have nothing to worry about. You're not losing a yard. Says them. They've never seen me play.
For sure. No, you're not losing a yard, but you will lose 35 golf balls to play 18 holes.
Totally.
Just like I do.
Yeah, so I hope these are going to be cheap balls.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Yeah, they better be cheaper.
Yeah.
Man. So I think that how far are...
There you go, man. Roll back.
How far in are we?
4-0.
Okay. So
4-1.
I think it's time that we probably jump to...
All right, so this is our hot news segment. We've had a lot of people
nice feedback on
commenting on this, and we do want you to do it. It's part of the reason why we designed this segment was because we wanted people to be like, oh, well, this is what I would pick, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And so we're going to do our pick 3 segment, which we've now done, about 3-4 weeks now?
Yeah, for sure.
And so
This is pick 3,
pick 3.
in parentheses, pick 4.
This one time only.
Understand.
We're going to change it to pick 4, and the reason we're going to change it to pick 4 is because of the subject matter, and the subject matter at hand is the college football playoffs. Okay, so like, why not do pick 4 since they just picked the 4 teams that are in the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. You've heard all the controversy. I won't even get into that. I'm just going to give you a list of. Let's see here. Since we're doing an extra one, we usually give like 6 or 7 options. I'm going to do 9. Okay. I'm going to give you 9 teams, and I want you to pick 4 of them. So just pretend for this instance that you are the college football playoff selection committee, and you are going to pick the 4 playoff teams for the college football playoffs. Which, I mean, can they just freaking expand it already?
For sure.
Problem solved if they're just like, hey guys, we decided to drop this on you a year early. 12 teams are in. Problem solved.
Yeah.
The drama is over. Florida State gets to play in the playoffs. So
Yeah, and truly, like, here's my problem, dude.
just change some of the bowl games. It'd be fine.
If we're looking at this list, right, there is 1, 2, 3 0-loss teams.
Yeah, undefeated teams, right?
1,
Michigan,
2, 3.
Michigan, Washington, and Florida State.
Yeah, and 1, 2, 3.
Technically,
One-loss
Liberty is
teams.
undefeated as well, but
Oh shoot, I forgot to look down that far. I did see. My bad.
hey, man, number 23 in the country.
Yeah, no, that's pretty good, dude. I did see that they ended up. Did they get Oregon or Florida State? It was one of them.
Oh, you mean
Liberty.
Yeah, they beat somebody big, but I don't think it was Florida State because they haven't lost. So.
No, they beat Missouri State.
Missouri State,
Yeah, pretty big win. No, they
big.
they drew
Huge.
Oregon.
Woo
wee! Y'all like watching boats race? That'll be a good one because that should be a boat race.
Oregon and Liberty.
Yeah.
Okay, so all right, ready for your pick 4?
Give it.
Special edition of pick 3 called pick 4.
Yeah, give it to me, dog.
All right. I'm just going to go top to bottom, okay?
Okay.
List off the 9 teams in order of rankings, and then you give me 4 teams for the playoffs. Ready?
Okay. Yeah.
Michigan, Washington, Texas, Alabama, Florida State, Georgia, Ohio State, Oregon, Mizzou.
Okay. I have
So you give me 4. Give me your playoff.
and Pifty, don't you be afraid to jump in this segment
Absolutely.
too, because he is a he's a big fan
He's a
of
diehard Alabama fan.
one of the teams in the top 9
Okay.
and well educated on the topic.
Good.
Here's the thing, dude. All right.
Only the best.
I've got 2 different ways that I can go with
All
this.
right, give it to me.
I can go one that includes my heart, or I can go one that includes my opinion and my thought.
Well, I would just say whatever like this segment is all about what you prefer on, you pick it, right?
Yeah.
So it's like your preference. You can either pick from a standpoint of being like trying to be the most accurate for the best playoff, or you can just pick, however you personally prefer it.
Okay.
So I don't really,
All right.
I'm not putting any stipulations on you because let me tell you this. There's no right answer here. Obviously.
No, there is. I'm about to give it to you.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Here you go. Here's the right answer. You want the best 4 teams in the country? Is that what you'd like? No, is that what everybody?
I mean, that's what people have been saying, but yeah.
Okay, if everybody would like the best 4 teams in the country, here we go. I don't have a problem with 1 and 2.
No, I know where you're going with this.
I don't have a problem with where they stand
All right.
at 1 and 2 right now. Now, I do not actually think that 1 and 2 land at 1 and 2. All right, they are not the first and second
Technically,
best
the 4 best teams in the country are.
Oh, hey, you got this is my go.
I was just going to drop Liberty in there since they're also undefeated.
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah.
All right, there you go. I'll give you a 10th option.
Michigan,
Liberty.
Washington, and Liberty, dude.
Yeah.
Get them in there. Get the
Hey,
bell.
they're undefeated.
Get the bells in there, dude.
Yeah.
Is that their mascot, the bell? The Liberty bird. The Flames. Oh, okay. I think I knew that.
The Flames
All right.
of Liberty.
Liberty Bell would be a better mascot for that university name. But anyway, 1 and 2, they're fine. They're in the top 4, I believe.
So
They're
Michigan
not
and
at 1
Washington
2.
locks.
That's
okay?
fine. Yeah,
All right.
yeah, we're good. Here's the thing, dude. And this is actually a whole topic I told you earlier that I wanted to get into. All right. Texas, I don't think is the 3rd best team in the country. And I
Okay.
don't think they've been that for a long time.
Right.
The best 4 teams in the country, well, I'll just tell you this. Georgia and Alabama are in
The top 4.
the top 4 in the country.
So,
okay.
okay. All right. They
In
just played each
fact-
other.
In fact, let me spit this out there real quick. I would argue that Missouri could land at 5 or 6.
Mhm.
Pretty easy. I'm not putting them in 4. But over the last 2 years, Missouri's played Georgia closer than anybody until Alabama.
If Mizzou played Florida State tomorrow, who would win?
Well, their quarterback quit.
I
I
don't think you could call it. He kind of had to quit.
He
His
got
leg fell off.
no.
Basically.
He got it's a force quit.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, Alabama, Georgia are in the top 4 of the best teams in the country. All right. Texas is in there. I get it. I think it should probably be Michigan, Georgia, Alabama, Washington,
Okay.
in my opinion. Now, let me go one step further.
So that's your pick 4.
I'm seeing some faces over there.
Georgia, Alabama,
somebody doesn't
Michigan,
like it.
Michigan, and Washington. That's your pick 4.
That's my pick for
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Just so we're clear.
Yeah, and that's not heart talking.
Right.
That is truthfully like a team that has lost 1 game in 3 years and lose it by a field goal to the number. When are you ever dropping a team 5 places for if it's during the regular season and they lose to Alabama as a number 1 when Alabama was what, number 5? 8.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They were basically where Mizzou was.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So still in that instance, you lose to the number 8 team by a field goal. Like, you're going to number 4. I don't think you're going to number 5. All right.
Or 6.
But then also, you got to think there are probably a whole bunch of dumb people making these decisions. Georgia should have been in this, and that's my opinion. I believe that they absolutely
Georgia would
should
be in this if they'd beat Alabama.
have. True. I agree. Here's why I have a theory.
All right.
It's not a conspiracy theory. I think
Hold on.
this
Before
is
you get into
actually
this,
fact.
because I do want to hear this.
Okay.
Do you care if me and Mr. Producer give our pick 4 just so that we can just have that on record?
Nah, I'd rather not.
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
absolutely, dude.
You know what?
Yeah.
It's cool, man.
Yeah,
I'll just hold it inside.
Yeah, you just bury it
Yeah.
deep down, dude. Yeah,
will.
let's get this. I want to hear this.
All right. So I'm gonna hearken to something that I felt like is the case across the board, and it's always bothered me with college football. I don't know why they're the only sport where this doesn't matter, where it doesn't count, right? I get it. strength of schedule and strength of conference and power rankings and all this BS, right? However,
I think I dig what you're about to say.
In any other sport, in the NFL, in my fantasy league, in everything, right?
Yeah,
in
true.
basketball, in the NBA, all that.
Tiddlywinks.
It comes down to what to determine postseason, and
Wins
it
and losses.
only comes down to that. Wins and losses. You don't get to have the Lakers be like, well, we actually are the number 1 seed in the playoffs because our strength of schedule is way harder than the Clippers or whatever, or the Jazz. So I'm just like, it's so erroneous to me. So and this is going to sound dumb as hell.
Nope, I like what you're about to say.
But my college football playoff Final Four would be Michigan, Washington, Florida State, and Liberty. And the only thing that would change that for me is if, like, Michigan, you could probably make an argument for Michigan. Literally, probably there's a decent segment of the population out there that probably thinks that Michigan should have been suspended from postseason play for this year because of some of the stuff that happened. So that would be the only way I wouldn't consider that. But that's what I think. You got 4 undefeated teams. There you go. That's my college football playoff, because I'm a purist, and I think if it's good enough for the NFL and for every other sport, then why can't it be good enough for college football?
Dude, honestly, I do dig that. I do dig that, for sure. I mean, so
Liberty would get freaking rolled, by whoever, but
yeah, but you know what, dude? I'm totally with you. Like, let's go to Mr. Producer Man, but the whole ranking system,
right,
when you're taking people's thoughts and opinions instead of having a concrete system,
it's because it's all about that.
Yeah, for sure. And after, like, I've got to get back to this idea too. I was telling you about it earlier. I think it's absolutely on the money, dude. But Mr. Producer Man,
give us your college football playoff.
Michigan, Alabama, Georgia, and Ohio State.
All right.
In my opinion, the 4 best teams in the country.
Right. Regardless of...
Michigan played Ohio State really tightly. Ohio State should have won that game on that final drive if it wasn't for the interception, or at least got another shot.
Agreed.
To tie the game and go to overtime. So, and then if Ohio State wins that game, they smack Iowa just like Michigan did. And I don't know. I'm just
one more time. Michigan, Ohio State.
Michigan, Bama, Georgia, Ohio State.
Okay.
So it should be, truthfully, at top of the Big Ten, top of the SEC. If you're going off of, you want the best teams?
So why can't the
best team?
Why can't the conference championship be part of the playoffs then?
Yeah, I agree with you, but I'm just, if we look at the Pac-12, historically, I don't see Washington faring very well if they had to play anybody other than Texas.
Yeah. Even Oregon, when they were arguably way better than Washington is now, they didn't fare well.
Well, last year, what was the national championship game? It was Ohio State, Georgia, right? In their semifinal. Yeah. Michigan, Bama is probably going to be the national championship game, because Texas and Washington are probably going to get rolled by either one of those teams. And I hate to say that because it's Washington and Texas, but I just
Washington's been winning. They've been rolling up teams like Colorado all year. So,
right, for sure.
I mean, I don't think the competition is anywhere near what even just like the SEC East is.
No.
So Texas played Bama and beat them week 2.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Right. Florida State beat LSU on a neutral site and beat Florida. So if we're going off of
that's their big wins.
Florida State, I mean, Texas has a loss. Even without Jordan Travis, Florida State on neutral site beat LSU badly, and that's with a Heisman candidate.
Yeah, maybe the winner too. That's, I mean, they're.
So you would say that you would argue that Florida State should be in over Texas then.
I agree, and this is where
Florida State would be your 5.
This is where my next point comes in. All right, Texas is in the playoff. Cool story. Whatever. This is where politics comes into play in all of this.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Who's coming to the SEC?
Texas and Oklahoma.
Right. So this is essentially a farewell goodbye to the Big 12 from ever
being
having
relevant
a
ever
team
again
in the 4-team playoff, or maybe the playoff in general. Maybe Oklahoma State or Kansas State squeaks in at some point, but from ever being relevant in the college football postseason, this is a toodaloo. Here comes Oklahoma, here comes Texas. And so as of in the future, you're telling me that with Oklahoma and Texas in the SEC, that the SEC will ever from here on out not have 50% of the teams in the college football playoff?
Something I saw on social media today. If you look at the top 10 team or the top 12 teams that are listed right now, what conferences are they going to be in next year? So Big Ten, Washington's going to what?
Big Ten.
Yep. SEC, Florida State, ACC, SEC, Big Ten, SEC, Big Ten, SEC, SEC.
Mm-hmm.
There's only three conferences in the top 12.
And one of those conferences is represented by one team. So, from here on out, henceforth, it will be SEC versus Big Ten. Big 12, you're done. You're not coming to the playoff. ACC, maybe one every 3 or 4 years.
Florida State and Clemson have a decision to make if they want to be relevant.
Join the SEC. Well, and this is going to lead to the point I was going to tell you.
Yeah. So this is farewell Big 12. This is farewell Big 12. This is the last.
Was that 50?
This is your. Okay. This is your last hurrah, Big 12. Congratulations on having a nice little run. You're never coming back to the playoff because your teams are losing. All right, we're gonna let Texas in and leave out far superior teams.
Yeah.
But we feel bad for you, so here we go. And that, I think, brings us to where I was. This is where you and I had very similar ideas on this type of thing. Which,
well, we feel like it's like the it's like the puppet masters, like the shadows on the wall, and just kind of moving pieces around and making things happen like they want to. The script writers. If we're in the NFL, it's the script writers. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
which is a good commercial. That's fun.
Totally. But my script here was. Did you notice how vociferous? And I'm like, this was shocking to me because the game had not been played yet. Okay.
Right.
But the SEC commissioner, or president or whatever, the figurehead behind. Okay. Yeah. The figurehead behind the SEC basically just kept. Just harping on
Sankey? Is it?
Yeah, Sankey.
Greg Sankey.
He just kept coming out and being like, if the SEC isn't represented in the college football playoffs, then the NCAA playoffs are invalid. All right. He kept saying that. Like, he was basically saying
it was a threat.
He was. He was being extremely threatening. Like, basically, if the SEC doesn't have a team in there, then this is BS. It doesn't even count.
Yeah.
Okay. And
after just having stolen maybe two of the maybe other 5 or 6 biggest assets in all college.
Well, that actually kind of rolls into what the broader point I'm making is that big picture thing.
Yep.
I was actually starting to wonder if it's like he was sort of putting leverage and threatening, right? But it was so weird because Georgia and Alabama hadn't even played yet. This is in the week leading up to that when he's making these comments. So I'm like, maybe you should just be quiet until after the game is played, right? Because if Georgia wins, it's not even a discussion, right? But Georgia lost, of course. So when I saw that Georgia lost that day, I was like, oh, this ought to be interesting because and then of course the very next day, here comes the SEC commissioner, like, nope. We will have a team in there, and that's the end of the story, or this is complete bull.
Or else.
That's kind of what I was feeling. I'm like,
yep.
He's got all these mega thousand.
Mega thousand. Love it, dude. I love that stuff.
He's got all these mega thousand schools that are coming into the SEC, right? And Mizzou came in and A&M came in, and now it's I feel like the floodgates are opening. Like the SEC is just getting bigger and more powerful, and there's going to be other teams like Florida State and Clemson, and probably a couple other good teams from the Pac-12 or the ACC that are like
the one less decent team for the Pac-12
teams, whatever, they're going to say, hey, you know what, we need to get in on this.
Yeah.
And I can't help but wonder if the NCAA was like, the last thing we want to do is now compete against the SEC. And when I say compete against them, I mean as in like the NCAA is a separate entity, a separate league entirely, and the SEC just goes out and says, we'll just take all the best teams and start our own collegiate organization, right? And so like that's kind of how I was feeling on it, and I think that maybe Alabama wasn't going to be included, and then they're like, if we value
they had Florida State in there. They had Florida State.
If we value our relevancy right now,
yep,
we better do it.
For sure.
We better put an SEC team in there. I mean,
that's
how. But I'm always like conspiracy theorist, So
no, but I don't think you're far off. I think that we are.
Oh,
maybe.
So it's not,
dude.
3, yeah. But I mean, the fact that that's been discussed at one point in time is alarming.
I hadn't seen this yet, and I was just about to say, I think we are, and I haven't seen the exact like even or odd numbers of each conference, but I think that we are either 3 or 4 teams away from the SEC and the Big Ten becoming what the AFL and the NFL were back when they merged, and then everybody else they are. That's totally G League, dude. Yep. That's G League. That is essentially all of these mid majors become junior colleges.
Well, let me ask you this:
in athletics,
when that happened. When he made those comments, Mr. Producer, was that the last time that the SEC was left out of the playoffs?
That was 3 days ago.
3 days ago.
This is 3 days ago.
Okay, so my theory is actually extremely
December 2nd, 3 days ago.
So
I thought you said 3 years ago.
3 days ago.
I had not seen this article when I came up with that theory. Just FYI,
that's on the money.
I was just like, he's trying to flex. Right?
So that was Saturday, right? What, the second was Saturday?
I don't know what date it was.
I don't either.
Tell me that is not.
What?
It was the second. And he said, quote, "We're going to give leadership a time to show leadership."
Dude,
that
is exactly what I'm talking about.
He told the SEC, or he told the NCAA what they were going to do.
If you want to stay relevant.
Yeah.
And you don't want to lose half of your like best revenue generators.
Yep.
You better get one of our people in here, which I mean that's what you want. You want somebody to fight at the top of your league.
For sure.
But also it's like, you got to wonder if like Florida State's sitting there like, dude, this guy's an a-hole because we should be in here. But he's threatening the NCAA.
Here's what I think, dude. And I think for a long time, part of the reason that the NFL has accelerated so far over college football is because there is a governing body that keeps things organized and succinct. Like, what the postseason is going to look like. You know what you have to accomplish to get there, right? There is no ambiguity on what you've got to do to meet your goal. You can know pretty cut and dried.
You got to win the division or you got to get a wild card.
Yeah, for sure.
And how do you do that? By having more wins, having a better record than the other people in your division.
Exactly. Yeah. Go Liberty.
Yeah. Exactly.
But I truly think...
Imagine what would have happened, the absolute meltdown from the SEC if Liberty would have gotten into the playoffs.
Instead of Bama, they just jumped from 25 to in.
Dude, you talk about watching the world burn.
Oh, dude. I would like to have watched it. But I truly think the best thing for college football truly would be Greg Sankey goes, all right, I'm the commissioner of CFL, College Football League, and we have 2 divisions.
CFL.
We have the SEC and we have the Big Ten.
I like it.
And these are the 2 divisions. Obviously, Big Ten probably needs to change their name to like Big 16 or whatever. And SEC the
Big
same.
16.
Whatever.
Give it a decade. It'll be the Big 30.
They'll just call it the Big all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of my point, though. If you continue to cannibalize other leagues out there and you bring in more and more of the high revenue generating teams, eventually you just become your own like athletic association.
For sure, yeah. And I truly think that an association like that with two leagues that's run under a governing body with consistent.
You go get your champion, and we'll get our champion,
and we'll
play
up
in the Super Bowl.
Yep, essentially a college Super Bowl that is run through a college playoff system.
Maybe that's the best thing for.
That's what I was gonna say, dude.
Because think about how many programs there are, right?
Yeah,
maybe that would, if there were two separate leagues, two separate associations with essentially the same, bylaws and everything.
Yep.
Maybe that would allow for the cream to rise to the top more instead of it just being like, well, what's going to be the best TV ratings?
Yeah.
Like, I think that's a huge factor, and it's like, who's going to draw the best TV ratings?
NIL may have paved the way for that.
Really?
I think you're right.
You think so?
Yeah.
Name it. Now the players can get paid. Name, image, and likeness. They can go out and get sponsorships.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter where they play anymore. Essentially, they're just going to go to places to get the NIL deal.
Right.
Yeah.
So like the quarterback at Alabama or the quarterback at USC going to make a whole lot more than that QB from Oklahoma State.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure, dude. And honestly, I mean, there's endless options for how you could do this. Like, if you have a team that, like Liberty, dude, that has a fantastic season, and then, you could maintain college football A, college football B, college football C. And then, like, if you're in college football A, which is, say, 32 teams, 16 in each league, right? Bottom 4 teams, you drop to college football B. Top 4 teams in college.
You're talking about
B,
like what they do in
move up
in the UEFA Champions.
I don't think that's a terrible league
over
for this,
in,
dude. Right? Because
like
you don't.
The soccer league, isn't
Yeah.
that how they do it over
Yeah.
in
You'll
Europe?
drop a league
Right.
for bad years, but you'll go up. So it's like, all right, cool. You won the championship in college football B.
Yeah,
which is just
I
two
can see some
divisions.
sense in that, yeah.
Yeah. All right, cool. Your reward is actually you're going to a bigger league. There's more money for the schools. There's more NIL potential for the athletes.
Right.
Bottom 4, you're dropping. I do like, that's the only good thing about soccer is that idea, and that the fact that they run.
You
that,
get a promotion year over year as opposed to just like
But year after year can also provide a demotion,
right? Yeah.
Which is also an important.
So there's
factor
incentive
in
not to tank, like in the NFL.
Yep.
You get these teams that tank just to
sure
grab draft picks.
But I think the first step in getting any of this done is probably SEC and Big Ten. Keep sniping teams, keep sniping good teams until literally
that's all that's
you
left.
are it.
Yeah.
Every team that anybody wants to see play is either in the SEC or the Big Ten.
And the SEC gets so big, they're like, "Hey,
Big Ten, you want a couple teams?"
No, they're like, "Sorry, NCAA, our league is so big, we don't have time to do any non-conference games. We have to only
for
play
sure,
a conference schedule."
Yeah, dude, that would be that'd be sick, man. I don't know. I think that I think that college football's definitely got to swap up something. Or they're going to have to.
I mean,
or
they're
the SEC might swap it up.
They are going to a 12-team playoff, and I remember when the very first year we had the college football playoffs, and it used to be the BCS national championship, right? So the top 2 ranked teams play each other, and that was the national championship. And I always laughed at that. I'm like, what a joke! That's
for sure.
That's not a champion. That's just whoever you said was
right. That's whoever Condoleezza Rice liked better.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But now it's like kind of even more of a joke because it's like, well, we're actually going to have a playoff to determine the best teams. But some of the best teams won't be included in the playoff.
For sure.
And so it's like that was kind of a joke. And now you've got like the 12-team playoff, which I think actually is legit, but here's the problem.
You're still going to have
you got 120,
14,
119, 120 like Division I NCAA football teams and a 12-team playoff. There's always going to be someone left out that was deserving. There's always going to be something. So I think that's splitting it into 2 pieces and having your own,
concrete criteria for qualification.
Yeah.
So who gets left out if it's a 12-team playoff? Liberty.
Namazu. Oh,
I'm saying Liberty goes
still gone
because
they're 23. Yeah.
And that would be a travesty in my opinion. If you have an undefeated team in a 12-team playoff, you would think that undefeated team should get to play, but because they don't have anywhere near the strength of schedule or any clout outside of
I can think of 2 times that the New York Giants, if we ran NFL playoffs like we do college football, they won the Super Bowl and would not have made the playoffs.
Right.
Because they were 7-9. But guess what? They did what they had to do at the right time, and they knew what the criteria was. They could see the goal. They got there, and they kept going.
Right.
Knocked it out of the park. So, dude, I think that we're
I know that's been like crazy drama, like on
for sure.
Like the last 2 days on sports talk radio. It's all I've heard. Which I didn't want to beat the dead horse, but it's an interesting thing to do on the pick 3
for sure. Yeah,
4, I guess. But
and I think that, and we may have had.
I feel bad for Florida State though, losing your quarterback, and
for
then
sure.
and then you get left out. It's like that sucks.
Yeah. So Pifty, one thing that I was telling Grant earlier on the phone is he brought that up whenever we were kind of discussing what we were going to talk about, and he goes, he's like, you're losing your quarterback, and I'm like, and you know this better than anybody. It's like, dude, that's not the hard work of one guy. That's the hard work of 300 or 400 people. When you take into
the entire organization,
recruiting, athletes, locker room guys, trainers,
cafeteria workers,
all this different stuff that are feeding, the athletes. Like, that is big. I am with you on. I think that undefeated should mean more, regardless. Like,
well, in every other sports league, it does
for sure. Yeah,
even if you're down to your third string quarterback. Because number 2 is out with a concussion.
Gum. Party too hard. Winning the ACC championship.
Jordan Travis breaks his leg.
Right.
And the other guy got a concussion, so he's out for a few.
Oh, I didn't even realize.
May not even be available to play in the game.
Wow.
So they're down to a third string quarterback. The rest of the team there, I get it.
Hey, you know what? It's still just 2 guys out of however many.
Hey, didn't the quarterback for
I don't know.
Doesn't the quarterback for USC? Didn't he want to play in the?
He's not. Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
He said he's not. Oh no, it was the Ohio State. Caleb Williams said he's not playing.
Was it?
Yeah,
I think so.
And there was one other.
There's like a super high end defensive lineman that said he's not playing in a bowl game too. The Peach Bowl.
Yep, there's a couple of them. I want to say the Ohio State quarterback. What's his name? Yeah, that okay. So it was Caleb Williams that I was thinking.
Yeah, he's not going to play.
That's So he's not
opting out.
Caleb Williams opting out. He's like, my NIL people told me not to.
Well, just maybe what should have happened is Florida State should have just got him in the portal. Like when they lost when they
you scroll back up
when they lost their quarterback, Florida State.
Oh, Anias. I'm sorry, dude.
Anias
I read
Smith?
it wrong. Yeah,
It kind of does.
I missed an I. Chop Robinson. That's a bad dude name right there.
He should be a chief
for sure. Yes, please. Yo, dude, I think it's time we wrap this. Hey,
real quick though, Florida
hit it.
State a couple weeks ago, they should have gone out and said, "Hey, Caleb Williams, why don't you just get in the portal and transfer real quick? Help us finish the season out." If Caleb Williams, hold on, just listen. Hypothetically, if Caleb Williams is playing for Florida State right now, that happens like in a couple weeks, right?
Yeah.
And then he is the quarterback for Florida State. He gets to play in the college football playoffs.
They're the best.
Florida State's in.
They're the best team in the country at that point, probably.
Well, there you go.
Is that what you were gonna say? No.
Well, I think.
Okay, how about this?
hilarious.
They're top 5 at that point. How's that sound? Dude, all right, man.
Dude, that was awesome.
We're $1.10 in. This is sick. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Producer. Nailed it. I loved him like throwing up the info, especially
amazing,
like when we were trying to figure out some of that techie stuff.
For sure.
Be able to actually read some of it instead of just, trying to pull it out of my butt. That was great.
Yeah, being able to like actually hopefully communicate some accurate like information and not just going skin deep, like actually being able to throw out a little bit of facts, you know. So, hey, we hit everybody. We hit the nerds. We hit the jocks. This
a little bit of something for everybody.
Yeah, for sure.
Even terrible golfers.
Yeah. That was for us.
Yeah,
for sure. But hey, stoked to have you guys in. Stoked to Finzo or Pifty, thanks for your contribution. This is gonna be so much fun. I'm so ecstatic. It's always been fun, and then now it's just gonna be like even better, dude. Every step of the way.
Yep.
But guys, I guess we'll see you guys next week.
All right.
For sure.
Peace.
Peace.